I love you in and out and up and down, all the way and all around. There ain't no way to overstate it. I never knew I could, or if I would, find a lover how I should. You just can't plan for love like this. Oh, you and me make one fine we. Oh, you and I, no one can deny. No, you and this one has so much damn thought on you. You and I.
So today we're talking to Haley about her views on cannabis consumption in some public places.
And also just my views on cannabis consumption, cannabis medicating, period. I've interviewed Angie, as you have seen on our channel, about the use of cannabis versus the use of prescription medication.
What are your views? How do you feel about people smoking in public?
Well, I think the word public is a very vague term, but if you're saying smoking indoors in a public place, I think that should be allowed only in the same regard alcohol is allowed indoors. So wherever alcohol is served, I feel cannabis should be served. And obviously, children aren't allowed at a bar. So that should be the same. They shouldn't be allowed around cannabis if it's going to be served in a restaurant where they're also serving alcohol. But sure, I definitely think that cannabis should be served at a restaurant or a bar, any place that serves alcohol. I think they should have a cannabis bar, a place where one can medicate if they don't drink. Even if they do drink, but they prefer medicating that night compared to drinking. I think it should be allowed as well, because not everyone drinks, and some people relax with cannabis. They use it to help them become more social, become more talkative in public, and to feel less paranoid in a public place. I think it should be allowed. Where one is drinking, one should also be able to medicate. It just makes sense to me. And you can have, a section where you can, take a bong hit or, vaporize. That's the area I would be at, because that's the only way I medicate is through vapor. That's the cleanest way for the lungs. So, and my lungs are sensitive. But definitely, I think it should be allowed. But yeah, it has to have rules and laws and regulations, just like alcohol. I think that you should be pulled over if you, don't pass a breathalyzer test for cannabis consumption. I don't know how they would measure it, like they measure alcohol on the breath. I don't know how they would measure that.
And I don't know if you can be tested
for cannabis
while driving.
You need to. They need to.
They need to come up with something, yeah.
Because now that it's legal, I think sometimes it can alter your perspective on reality, and I don't think it's always a wise decision to get behind the wheel when you've been medicating. That's just my opinion.
But some people, it does make them more
Aware.
Cautious drivers.
Yes, and I know people that have driven their whole lives while being medicated. And that's the only way they know how. That's the only time they drive is when they're medicated. And they've never had an issue.
And they're perfectly safe.
Yeah.
Unlike alcohol, which is always bad to
It's
drive
always
with.
bad.
It's always going to cause a risk.
Drink and drive. It is always bad. Never, ever drink and drive. Never get behind the wheel.
So you mentioned cannabis being allowed in like bars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about people just smoking outside of establishments like bars?
Like smoking cannabis outside?
Like using cannabis like outside in parking lots or grocery stores or wherever they are that's not a 21 and older like liquor establishment.
I don't think that should be good. For one, it can get smelly. For two, it can spread and people can get a contact high from it. And, you know, what if there's children around? What if there's people that just can't handle it around? I don't think it should be allowed outside like a cigarette is smoked outside. I don't think that's appropriate. I think inside where it can be monitored, and I think that's a little bit better. I don't think it should just be allowed out where in public where people can see you randomly, because it can't be controlled that way. You don't know who's gonna have it. You could be, 15 and someone could... No, I don't think it should be allowed like that outside. I don't think it's right. And you don't know. You could be getting it from someone out on the street. And then people sometimes mix it with other chemicals and you don't know what you're getting. So no.
I agree with you. And it would be nice to have a nice lounge in a bar, a whole lounge section where you just go and chill. Maybe there's couches and
we are lucky enough to live in the beautiful state of Oregon where cannabis use is legal. So I'm very blessed to be here, and we don't want to have to fight for this any longer.
And last question, what does cannabis provide for you?
What does it provide?
What does it provide? Like, why do you use cannabis?
I like it.
That's it?
It works. It's relaxing. I can't really explain it. You just have to try it. If you want to know what it feels like, no one's going to be able to tell you. You just have to experience it for yourself. And I'm not saying, go pick up a joint. What I'm saying is, if you are 21 and you live where it's legal and you're legally allowed to obtain it where you are, then yes, by all means, try it. Try it for yourself. Don't ask someone else what it's like, because they're not going to be able to explain it to you. Because everyone's perception and experience is different. So my advice to everyone is just try it for yourself. That's all.
Boom.
If, like I said, if you live in a legal state, if you're 21 and older, and you're legally allowed to obtain it, yes, try it for yourself. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to explain the experience to you. Just not going to be able to explain it. That's it.
Perfect. All right. Any further comments?
No, I think I've said way too much as it is. Do I support the use of cannabis? 100%.
It's way better for the system than alcohol.
It is.
Alcohol
and I've
kill
never
you.
ever been addicted to alcohol. I've never liked the effects of it. You know, people say it can be addicting. I have no relationship with alcohol. Cannabis, I have a relationship with it. We're practically married. If I never tried it before, I wouldn't know what I was missing. But I do like it, and I wouldn't want to live without it. It can be addicting, but can't everything be addicting? Caffeine is addicting. Chocolate,
Getting your hair dyed, tanning, shopping,
iPhones, definitely right here. This is being filmed on a Samsung, by the way.
Ha ha.
The real beauty is right here. This is the iPhone 7 in rose gold.
That's why we're filming with it right now.
Behind, I show you a Lumi case. An authentic, real Lumi case. I'm in love. You want to see what it does?
Sure. Why
This
don't you
has
show
nothing
everybody?
to do with cannabis. This is what it does. Whoa. It's got a light. So you could take the most perfect selfie with your sweetheart.
Aw, with your sweetheart.
Are you ready, honey? We're going to show the world how we take our pictures together.
Okay.
And the magic and the secret is right here. It's the Lumi case.
Lumi case.
Get a good glimpse at this beauty. This is the Lumi 2, if anyone wants to know. In size iPhone 7, 6S, or 6. Rose gold. We're going to do a little countdown here. Oh, it didn't work. But we tried.
We tried. 2 cameras at once. Should we wrap this up?
Yeah.
Okay, love you.
Love you too.
I need you here and there and everywhere. Hand in hand, we're quite the pair. No place compares with that.